Alright, sorry y'all, good evening. Welcome to an evening of noise with TAETRO. Thank you for being here. I apologize for being a little bit late. Felt like I was catching up with things all day, but how are you all? Where are you tuning in from? Welcome back to another Thursday evening stream. Is this the second or third week in a row of Thursday evening streams? I'm not sure, but this is we've been, experimenting in the evenings, getting crazy. Here is the setup for the evening. I'm gonna get the closer cam on it in a moment. But we got the drone synth back from last week. Microcosm obviously making a return, and this right here, the AP64, that is where the magic is gonna be happening. Let me see. Let me get my closer cam set up so you can all get a better view of that. I have to reset it every time. There we go. Activate. Oh, and we're good to go. So if I push this button, boom. We're getting up close and personal over here. How's that view for y'all? So AP64 was the first controller I could think of in my arsenal that has easy CV and gate. Not that we need gate, but CV output, which we need to send pitch to the drone. And something kind of embarrassing is, so I actually made all of the launch content for the APC64, so all of the original tutorials and everything. And that included a tutorial on how to use the CV functionality. And I just had to rewatch that tutorial right before the stream. I had to watch myself giving a tutorial to remember how to use the APC64. So that's where we're at this evening. But enough about me. What's going on over here in chat? The relaxed evening vibes continue with a side of modular, a budding modular addiction. Yeah, I can't say we're gonna go that far just yet, but something about this is piquing my interest, so I'm kind of stoked for that. Tuning in all the way from Thailand. Hail Nomad, I hope you are safe. It's hasn't been a week yet since the crazy earthquake and everything, but I hope you weren't too much affected by that. I know it's been crazy. Must have been a crazy time. Hope you and your family and friends are safe. Ayote, so glad to have you here this evening. And the counselor, yes, TAETRO is live. That's me. I'm live Thursday evening. Let's have a weird, suspicious, noisy evening. Happy Thursday, Tom. Thank you for tuning in. Sky Lotus, here for the noise. That's what we love to hear. Reteaching yourself with your own tutorial is pretty LOL. It happens more often than you think. Like if there's a piece of gear that I just haven't used in a while and I'm like, oh, let me go watch a tutorial. But if I made the tutorial, I mean, I might as well watch myself. I don't know. Sometimes you just, it's like just like note taking, except my notes are like live and in public and everybody can watch them. Of course, my parents are in the chat. Gotta love it. The real Teebs. Hey dude, so glad to see you. I've been watching you for years and I have to say I love most of it and learned something from all of it. Keep up the great work, man. That's not the real Teebs. I know the real Teebs. Are there multiple Teebs? Is that possible? Veritech. Jason Veritech? Nice to see you, my friend. Thanks for joining us. Siri. Nice to see you as well. Cycling frugally. You said you were going to be late. What happened? You were right on time. Or maybe I was late, so you were on time. That could also be the case. But has anybody seen any cool news out there in the music tech space that they want to chat about? Any interesting things they got into this week? What's going on? Because I did see, well, tomorrow's 404 day. I haven't really planned anything for 404 day. I feel like it's just been chaos the past month of like catching up on projects. You know what it was? I went on my honeymoon at the beginning of the month, and then I've been playing catch up ever since. 404 day tomorrow, or for some of you today. Like hail nomad out there. For some of you, it's already April 4th. 404 day, and they announced, let's see, we can bring it up here. They announced an update, and let me know what y'all think of this. It's an interesting update. Last year, I can't remember what the update 404 was. Was it the looper that they added last year? Anyway, this year they have updated the 404 with version 5, and that is going to add Serato
Hi guys, my name is
integration.
DJ Bridger, and today we are going to be looking at the version 5 update for the SP404 Mark II. This firmware expands the SP's functionality, adding high-level integration with Serato DJ Lite and DJ Pro, turning the SP into
What do we think of that?
powerful DJ
Are many people
controller.
using Serato?
It
We've had
also
DJ
offers
conversations on the
hands-on
evening streams
control
before. Are many people using Serato
making
DJ?
it easier to tap into the
I heard
powerful
some
software
people,
features
we've talked
for
about using
expanded
Record Box.
sampling, beat making, and
Sorry,
performance.
I have no
As
idea what
always,
I'm
there's
talking
loads to
about.
go through, so let's get started.
But it seems pretty
First
cool.
of
It seems
all,
like
make
basically
sure you
they've
have the
just
latest
adapted, like SP404 already had a DJ mode where you basically have like a 2-deck layout and you could swap tunes and adjust tempo on the fly and use the effects. Seems like they've just adapted that layout that already existed to be a straight up controller for Serato DJ. But I have spoken again about my woes in trying to understand the finer details of DJing and how it just like totally eludes me.
The right deck and the left deck using the SP controls. As you can see, the pads in this mode have changed to different colors and they all have new functions. These functions are indicated by the icons inside the pads in the small boxes.
But it seems
best to think of
and
these
it's not
pads
my
as
cup of tea, but I'm sure there are going to be people that are like, oh, this is kind of dope, because I imagine there's a lot of SP404 users that are doing some kind of live sets anyway, and they might have already dabbled in DJing. And if you can use just one controller, I just don't know what disadvantage using the 404 will have versus using a more traditional like DJ controller. I don't know if anybody can speak to that, but it also will have integration with Serato Studio, which I have used
When you
before.
found a sound you like, you can load it to a pad by just pressing
So that's
the
pretty
pad.
cool.
You will notice the pad is...
I mean, call me when they have Ableton integration, you know, but
So, we're in our audio samples, and I'm going to choose...
but the whole thing with
Kicks
Serato
folder.
Studio is like chopping a sample
So we
is
can now
made very,
audition
very easy. So
For
let me see if we can get to a
example,
part where they're
want to
chopping.
play our pattern, record our pattern.
Yeah, so basically like a DAW integration there. I think that's pretty cool. I think obviously the loop, when they added looper mode and when they added things like stem output and stuff like that, that was all super impressive. This is obviously more for a specific crowd, you know. As Serato users, Serato DJs, Serato Studio users will rejoice. Not totally up my alley, but I respect it. And it's kind of amazing. Like the SP404 has been out for a while now, and they keep adding crazy features, which of course adds to the amount of shortcuts that you have to remember when you're using the 404. But what's the trade-off? We can get a bunch of updates, and they have to adapt with the hardware, or no updates. I'll take the updates any day. Barista Beat says, did you know the TR-8S can be used with Serato locked to tempo? Do you mean just like you can sync the clock? Because you could do that pretty much with any DAW. But is that unique to like that specific DJ software? I'm not sure. Just DJ stuff, unfortunately, for the 404. Yeah. I mean, good for them. Like I said, it's not for me. Yeah, it's a unique Serato feature. Oh, so do other DJ programs not have like a means of syncing clock to hardware? That seems odd. It seems like an odd oversight. Serato also got bought by a holding company in Canada too. It was a busy week for them. Interesting. Hopefully that means job security for the team over there. Hopefully there's not a ton of nonsense as a result of that, but you know, capitalism, good capitalism. We'll see. We're just surviving it. Sounds like they're making the 404 more versatile. Yeah, I mean, it's always kind of been this really deep sampler, but also kind of a Swiss Army knife that people use for performances, for effects, obviously sampling. So we'll take it. I just wonder what Roland's next move is, because they made the P6 obviously most recently, and I've been using that. It's interesting when I think about this. And by the way, I have my AC on and I have a fan going because it's figured out that the studio, this room, is the hottest room in the house, which is not great. But AC and fan on at the moment. But let me say this. I was thinking about this today. I have push 3 and move. I use move way more, I would say. I still use push 3, but I use move way more. And I have the 404 and the P6, and I for sure use the P6 a lot more. I don't know what it is. Is it just like that they're easier to grab and pick up and use, or I mean, it could also speak to like what's the most fun part of the process. Obviously, starting a new thing, the simpler side of the process, and the next step up, you know, using push or using 404 is obviously like getting deeper into the process. But still, I feel like when I get deeper into the process, I'm still like a DAW kind of guy. Like I'm still, if I'm working on a track that's going to be finished, I might as well be working in live from the jump, you know? And there's only so many, like when you're finishing a song, think about the process of finishing a song. Like you're mostly doing like effects tweaking, automation, mixing, obviously. You're doing lots of keyboard and mouse work, and there's not a lot of controllers that have emulated or that have like there's not a lot of controllers that you can use in that process. You know, you kind of have to use the keyboard and mouse, I feel, during that finishing process, everything beyond the actual music making. So I don't know, it's just an interesting thing I was thinking about, because somebody commented today and was like, oh, I'm thinking of either buying the push or the move, which obviously sounds kind of ridiculous, but it's not really that ridiculous, because people are like, am I gonna invest a ton of money in this big thing, or should I just spend a little bit of money and get this thing, and what can I make of either situation? And I thought it was actually an interesting question, after initially being like, it's kind of a ridiculous question, but I imagine there's a lot of people in the same headspace, where maybe it's like the cost is not really what's hindering their decision. It's more like, what am I actually going to do with this thing? The company that bought Serato, a company named Tiny, they advertise themselves as a long-term holding company that only buys wonderful businesses. So maybe not the terrible capitalism. Yeah, but I wonder how many, if you went to 5 or 10 different holding companies' websites, how many of them would have like very similar language? Interestingly, a company that I care about a lot that actually went under, called Game Informer, which they make a magazine and they make tons of awesome content around video games. They had been shut down by their parent company, GameStop, months ago, maybe over a year ago now. And they actually, just out of the ashes of that, got bought by a big holding company, and they are coming back. And the holding company not only brought Game Informer back, but they rehired all the staff and gave everybody raises, apparently. So little glimmer of hope out there in the otherwise hard times of this economy, which of course this week is not getting any better. Man, I gotta jump back up to that chat from Hale. Fleeing down 11 flights thinking the building was collapsing was scary AF. That is crazy, my friend. I'm glad you were not hurt in the process. But now that you're safe and we're kind of away from it, let me ask you this. Did you grab a piece of gear? Did you have the real life, like if the house is on fire, what's the one piece of gear you're going to grab on your way out? Or was there no time to think about that at all? Which I can imagine could be the case in a very serious situation like that. But it would be interesting to know if that situation literally played itself out. I know this stream isn't about the TR-8S. From the Serato URL, using TR-Sync, you can now play the TR-8S drum sounds in time with Serato DJ Pro and your supported hardware. Interesting. So that probably just means that Roland and Serato have had a little ongoing partnership for a while, which is cool. MacBook is a great combo for live. MacBook with Move. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, I was doing a sampling session. If I want to just sit down and do some sampling and start working on a demo, Push is fantastic. Like if I want to do some deep sampling, obviously like not the quick making stuff that you can do with Move. I just think we live in a great time for music technology, and I think sometimes we get too caught up in like, is this better than that? And it becomes like weird and toxic where it's like, well, they made this, but compare it to this, it doesn't have X, Y, and Z. And it's like, I'm just, after many years of doing this with gear and showcasing gear and doing tutorials and stuff, it's like, I'm so over that, and I just want to enjoy all the gear. Obviously, I'll call some BS out when I see it, but really, I either don't get involved with BS because I'm just not interested in it, or like, oftentimes there's not a lot of BS going around. It's just kind of like a lot of companies doing their thing, trying to do things their own way, and the result is like all this competition. Like there's so much competition in the music tech space. Like if you need a groove box, there's like a bunch of different options and they all have their pros and cons. And I don't really think there's a need to like viciously defend one or the other. Like basically if you Google any piece of gear, you can see somebody making something amazing with it. And I think that's just like, that's all the proof you need to be like, at the end of the day, how much does it really matter? Just get something and start making something. Do you use Koala often? I don't use it often enough. It is basically one of my favorite music making apps. I have this dream of just getting rid of all my gear and using a pad controller and Koala on the iPad, and that's it. Like that's a huge dream. But I do somewhat feel a disconnect when I try to make music on the iPad. I don't know what it is. I can't feel like when I pick up any of these other instruments, when I pick up the 404, when I pick up, any synth, the Move, the Push, it feels purpose built. It feels like I'm picking it up and this is the action I'm taking. But when I pick up this iPad that has Instagram and YouTube Studio where all my comments are, and any other unrelated musical thing, it feels like I'm constantly one step away from a distraction, and that is totally a self-discipline thing, but it's just the reality. So if I have a purpose, even though if I don't know what the solution to that is, like if Koala made like a standalone machine, would it improve things? I don't know. Oh, but speaking of apps, there was an interesting, I was going to make a video about this. I don't make too many videos about apps and stuff, but maybe this one is worth making a little video about. Ableton Note was updated this week. I don't know if you all saw that or if there's any Note users around in the chat, but essentially what they did was, here, let me do that. They expanded the MIDI capabilities of Note. So you used to be able to just, make tracks as usual, but now you can actually do MIDI editing in Note. So you can see drawing in Notes. And check this out, like the click and drag for the velocity. I think that's a nice touch. And then for bigger clips, you can select all the notes. You can change the velocity in a really cool way for the whole pattern. I don't know, it's just like one step up, like being able to work entirely in MIDI now versus always having to enter in notes. And I saw so many comments of people saying that this is dope because if you're working with Bluetooth headphones, like if you have just your phone and you're not out for music making, but you want to take like a music making break, you probably don't have your wired headphones with you. So if you're just wearing earbuds and you want to make music, doing it on the grid instead of real-time play is a perfect solution. So I think that's pretty cool. A very welcome update. And I'm starting to see like some symbols from Move pop up in Note, and then like some features being, there's this cross-pollination between Note and Move, and I think that's another cool thing about the live ecosystem now, and it seems like more cool stuff is going to be coming to Move soon, but I have no insider knowledge. Just seems like they're going to try to make it more of a seamless situation. Really nice update. A lot of things that frustrated me and why I got Move. Yeah. And I'm working on a project right now with Ableton. I had this update a little bit early, and I'm working on a project now where I was shooting a video where I had to start a track on Move. Start a track on Move and move to Note. Yeah. So from Move to Note. And then I had to start from Note to Live, and then just start and finish on Note. And the synchronicity, it's like the moment you finish something on Note, I turn on Move and it pops up. It says like downloading set. That's like just crazy to me. Another thing that makes me think we are living in an amazing time of music technology. Amen. That's why I've been playing with groove boxes more lately. Yeah, and that will probably play into our conversation with drones and stuff. Oh, Hale has the update. I didn't even grab my phone or footwear, just in my shorts. No money or anything. I now have a crash bag with my Move and a few essentials. Interesting. Move made it to the crash bag. Yeah, but that's scary that you even have to think about that. But I guess, you know, that big one happened, and it is very unlikely that another big one will happen in the near future. So there's that. I guess a little bit of comfort there, but it's good that you're prepared now. It's crazy to even imagine. Like I keep seeing the buildings, the video of the buildings that had the bridge and all the stories, and every time something like some world event like this happens, you're reminded of like how much more things are being documented now, because we have like videos of every angle of these buildings just like completely shaking in the earthquakes. Okay, folks, shall we drone? To drone or not to drone? That is the question. Now I can move this camera slightly. There's like no, if I move the camera here, it's in the way of my face. If I move the camera here, it's in the way of the gear. But I think I can actually, I also have a drink over here, which is just about to be spilled. It's like begging to be spilled. But here, let me figure out a situation with this camera. That makes sense. Then if I cut to this camera, we got a little close-up view. How is that view? I don't know which one of these views is better. This has got to be way better, right? Like that? I don't know. Who can say? And we can get closer if we need to. Drone away. Let's drone. All right, we'll keep it for this. If I got to show something close up, then we will definitely do. I'll switch back and forth. And you know, I recorded the last session. I don't know if I'll make a video out of these streams, but I'll just record this for safekeeping. Anyway. All right, what do we got here? So if you're new, last week, Dustin McAdams showed up. You showed up just in time. We are just about to. You showed up just in time. We're about to start the droning. So if you were not here last week, we were experimenting with this drone synth, and this drone synth is the CPM DS2 by Stylophone. And we were having a lot of fun with this. It's literally just a drone with two oscillators, meaning you can basically have like two different notes going on at the same time. We are going to process that through eventually the hologram microcosm, just for some fun effects. The addition this week, though, is the AKAI APC64. Because the APC64, if you don't know, I can show it off here if we have enough space, has on the back some CV outputs. It actually has 8 CV and gate outputs. So for me, it seemed like a no-brainer if we wanted to start controlling the pitch of the DS2. Now, the only 2 patch cables I have at the moment are, we have one CV going from the APC64 to the pitch of drone 1, and then another CV signal going to drone 2's pitch. So now we should be able to control the pitch instead of like using these pitch dials, which is like kind of funky and wonky. But I will be curious to ask you all about some things as we encounter along the way. And this is also a reminder that I am no expert by any means in this kind of like, what do you call this when we start patching things like this? It's not modular quite yet, right? But like this proto modular kind of thing. So that is just to say, this is not a stream where I'm going to be showing off any skills or being able to teach anything. This is a stream where I need y'all to help me out. Mystery Beats, hello, welcome, thank you for joining us. And what's up? I'm Orange. Yo, we droning. Yes, everybody who just tuned in, you tuned in at the perfect time. Okay, so normally, from what I understand, you have 2 major things you can control with CV and gate. We can use CV to send pitch, and gate is usually for on and off. Correct me if I'm wrong. But this is a drone synth, so there's no such thing as a gate on a drone synth. It's a drone. It just keeps droning. So, if that's the case, as I turn volume up on drone 1, let me know if you all hear that, okay? And I'm going to cut any effects that were on, so we just get the raw sound. And I'll kill all the LFOs. So now we just have a constant note. Simple enough. So the change this week, as I said before, is we should be able to control the pitch with the APC64. And it looks like we can. Now, one thing I don't understand is if there's like a limited range. Doesn't seem like it. Yeah, it seems like there's an upper range, but if I turn the pitch knob on the drone synth, does that change our upper limit and our lower limit? Yes, it must. So I'm going to keep the pitch all the way down because I think this is a usable range. And, okay, I'm going to turn the volume of drone 1 down and turn the volume of drone 2 up. Now I can switch channels on the APC64. And now I can control the pitch of drone 2. Where the fun begins is using the step sequencer. So now, step sequencer on the APC64, we get this note mode grid. And we also get velocity here, but I don't think that will have an effect for us with the drone synth. I don't think we're not sending any velocity info. But what we can do now with drone 1 is start a sequence. And then, since it's a drone synth, it should just change notes every time. So this allows us to have something that's a little more interesting than just a single note drone. So I'm going to just insert some notes. And maybe we could even just have a fun with the sequence. A little bit faster stuff. Okay. Turn that down for now. Let's try to make a slightly more interesting sound. I'm hearing some weird effect on my voice. I think it has something to do with the way the fan is hitting my open back headphones. I'm hearing some weird, like, real life phasing on my voice. Or I'm being abducted by aliens. You let me know which one that is. Now, chat, do feel free to recommend next steps. But let's focus on drone 1 for now. And we have these waves. We can send these waves to different things on the drone. So let's choose like a square wave, I guess. Or let's go a little random. Abducted for sure. Yeah, I must have been sending some specific kinds of frequencies. Ah, I see. I was blending the sub and normal frequency. Now I guess we could do a bit more with this sequence. It does feel kind of dull. It's just gonna sound like randomness, of course. I'm gonna dial up microcosm a little bit. If I can give you guys more volume, let me know that as well. that sound? I think yes, Dustin. Yes, Dustin. The microcosm does have MIDI in and out 5-pin, which I've never experimented with. So technically we could control it with the APC64, but I'm curious what you think we would control, because I do have hands-on control of the microcosm right here. But I'm not sure, I'm just not sure what I would control. Like if sending a sequence could shape the filter. I haven't really actually dug that deep, but that would be another layer. I'm definitely down with adding layers. I probably can't easily find a 5-pin MIDI cable at the moment, but something to think of for next time. But I assume there is fun to be had with that. So put a pin in that, Dustin. You're right. It would be pretty good on a cassette tape. Mystery Beats, I like the way you think. We could experiment with that. I actually have a cassette going right now. Sync to BPM for sure. Yes. Is this session going to be posted after? Yes, Unfortunate Teller. And if you're enjoying these vibes, last week's stream was where we started experimenting with this setup, so you can tune into that. And Jacqueline, I don't think I said hello this evening, but thank you for joining us. If you are here and you're lurking in the shadows and you haven't said hi in chat yet, please go ahead and say hi in chat. We're a very supportive, chill community over here, so would love to know that you're here, and your encouragement throughout the stream does, of course, help me push through in the experimentation of these sounds. You can also help the stream by clicking the like button, which helps more people find it, making sure you're subscribed to the channel, which you probably are already. And if you want to support in a big way, you can become a channel member by clicking the join button, which might not be available on mobile, but if you view the channel on desktop, find the join button, you can get some perks for being a member, including getting the cool tree next to your name, like some of your fellow chatters. Speaking of trees, good evening, Xerix. Nice to see you. We'll also be having a community challenge that anybody can enter, and that's going to be launching on Sunday. So just a little leak for you. Let's keep making sounds. I want to play with probability a bit here, but I don't really remember how to do it on the APC64. So there's a probability function button here. We have probability and mutate. So let me see if I can remember. Exactly how probability works. So we have to hold shift and probability. Ah, that makes sense. So we have like degrees of probability here. From like 100% to 0%. And I assume I just hold a note. Again, I did make all of the content for the launch of this APC64. And I'm just going to tweak probability on each one of these. And I hope that holding these purple notes is actually doing the probability thing. No, I don't think it actually is. I think I have to go into the individual notes and change the probability. Just if every note has a little less chance of playing, then the sequence becomes a little more interesting. Let me know if the autofocus is too weird on this camera. Usually I have a single focus, but since I've been moving around, I kind of didn't do that. But I can change it back. Uh-oh, that's not what I wanted. There we go. And now we have this evolving sequence, which is quite nice. Alright, so we've got the sequence going. How is the volume? Are you guys getting enough of the magic? Now, without the microcosm, this is what we have. Just to bring everybody back to some reality. Dial that back in. It's obviously adding just a lot of magic. Casper, thank you for tuning in from Brooklyn. Glad you're enjoying the chill vibes. Gonna try this with brand new Chase Bliss Onward. Nice, nice. I don't know that pedal. I'll have to check it out. I've never seen someone light up with modular fever so quickly. Is this modular? This is like very much a gateway into modular, I'm aware, but it's like not a poor man's modular, but I don't know. I don't know what I would call this. It's like using a MIDI controller that's made for Ableton Live and a drone synth to do like this modular, fake modular. What's up, Jake Cully? Nice to see you as well. All right, we have another drone to play with. So let's give that a shot. And let's just get it going with a root note there. And I might run, since drone 1 is playing these kind of higher notes, I might completely go sub-oscillator with drone 2. Trying to think the best use of drone 2. Let's play just one long note for now. you slowly modulate a pulse width on number 2? Well, take a look what we have here, and you let me know what you think the next best course of action is. So, each drone has pulse width modulation, as well as cutoff. So, you tell me what the heck we're gonna connect next. So Xerix, you say we have a low, to try to do a low rate sine into the pulse width, but I don't know if I have a means of doing that, because here on the drone, and this is me asking, this is not me being sure of anything, of course. Here on the drone, this glare is kind of obnoxious. We only have the ultra LFO with a single rate for both of these wave types. So we could select a smoother wave, but we're locked to this rate, which we could definitely adjust. But we can patch wave 1 and wave 2 into something. So why don't we try patching wave 2 to the pulse width modulation. Let's give that a try. Yeah, AK10, I think that's the way to go. So as far, you all correct me if I'm wrong, I'm operating under the assumption that there's only one LFO. That, like, there's only, well, there's 2 wave types, but there's only one rate. Right? So in a sense, there's only one LFO? So that's wave 2 into pulse width modulation for drone 2. 1 speed, 2 shapes. Yeah, okay. I think I understand that. Get you some more volume here. Needs a few granular effects. I will turn up the mix on my hologram here, and maybe let's give it a little more space as well. Of this, let's try going even slower with the rate. You all liked that LFO depth. Now let me ask another stupid question. Here's my stupid question. We've got our LFO. It's obviously each wave is going certain type. It's going at a specific rate. Now, each drone has a cutoff. I guess I kind of understand. As I'm asking this question, I kind of understand. But I don't understand the difference between the LFO depth. So the filter LFO is it's already connected, you know, just like internally. What's the difference in patching in that cutoff to one of the waves? I'm kind of having trouble wrapping my brain around that. Even though it seems, I think I kind of get it, but seems simple. Cutoff is filter cutoff. Yeah, I know, but is that not what the filter LFO is doing? Like that literal LFO control on the filter? So basically what I mean to say is right now we can obviously hear that the filter is being shaped by the LFO. AKA the cutoff of the filter is being changed by the LFO. That's my understanding at the moment. So my question is, why now? Why would I patch something why would I patch one of these waves into the cutoff? I don't know, I don't know if this is a dumb question or not. I can't see the LFO depth attenuator where it reduces and flips. Yeah, so we kind of solved that last time. The LFO depth, I'll give you a closer view of it. Hopefully. LFO depth has negative and positive, so in the center it's not active. Oh, I think I keep hitting my computer keyboard, so if you guys are hearing like a Spotify song right now, I hope not. Oh, I don't want that to be on at all. That's the problem with semi-modular. It's not always clear what part of the path you are interrupting. Well, you know, I guess we could just try it. We could just try something. So let's just take wave 1, which is the random... Oh no, it's like the side. And let's put it into the cutoff of drone 1. Let's just listen to drone 1 for a moment. So there's that, and let me pull that out. Yeah, I guess I just don't understand that, because you can direct the waves. Into the filters. So I don't know. I'm a noob. I don't understand everything. I am quite satisfied with this sound we have going here. Ah, okay, so it would be for syncing with other modular gear. I get it. Okay, I just wanted to make sure I had an understanding of that and I wasn't like missing some core piece of knowledge. Alright, let's bring that drone 2 back in. was me tweaking the delay time. I'm gonna pull back on the microcosm for a moment and just tweak these delays and reverbs and see how big we can go with it. By the way, this last session and this session, and any experimenting I've done in between, I've been on the included batteries, so this could die at any moment. Or I'm not sure how long they're supposed to last exactly. And you know what I want to do tonight is when we kind of get towards the end, I will record a few cycles of this, and I will give you all a link to just download it, and you can chop it up, mix and mangle it. Be our little exclusive Thursday evening treat. I'll make the link like expire. Tiny bit of LFO depth on the delay. Just enough to get that little pitch drift, right? Gonna change the wave type of wave 1. Ah. Is that the sharp change in the LFO on the delay actually? Now that we're not doing too smooth, I'll pull back on the LFO depth on the delay. I've just switched to a plate reverb as well. I can switch the wave for the delay. So I'll switch it to wave 2. Bring the microcosm back in. The other thing that we can control, of course, is the just straight up tempo that the sequence is playing at, because why not? Let's just make that slower. And to be honest, I kind of want to go back to the smooth wave one. I'm open to recommendations, Dustin. We suddenly got kind of muddy, and I don't know what I did to do that. Let's speed the rate back up. Anybody else sense that too? Like we had like a little bit of a good thing going, and then I just tweaked something. Switch to the plate reverb. I'm going to go back to the hall, but actually I have my reverb all the way down, so that's not it. I'm just gonna crank the tempo and just see what happens. I think our original tempo was a sweet spot around like 87. Do a little experimenting with wave types. mud out in the DAW EQ. This is me cranking the microcosm mix to basically 100%. Yeah, I hear you on that, Neichi. But what is interesting is each drone has its own output. So We could, in theory, mix these separately. Huh. Can feel that bass? Yeah, it is pretty deep. All right, do we want to grab the tensor pedal and maybe just try to run this through slowed? See what happens? I think that would be fun. Had to think of where it was. Here, let me grab it for a moment. Be right back. More. All right, tensor pedal, which slows down time. I'll have to do a quick switcheroo on the audio, so. Perfect stream vibe for 10 p.m. and an adult beverage. Cheers, my friend. No adult beverage for me. Not yet. Maybe after the stream. You're drifting away. I think it would be a lot of fun to compose something with this setup. All right, I'm gonna fade this out for a moment. And we're gonna do a momentary switch. We're gonna go stylophone. Oh, should we put the tensor at the end? I never do that, but I think why not just try? Tensor at the end, even slowing down the microcosm. We need cable. All right, so we're gonna go stereo out from the microcosm. Yeah, we'll try this. We can always swap it if it kind of gets too muddy or something. But let's do that. Where are we? Okay, then that's the input for the tensor. Sorry, I don't really have a good way of showing the tensor as I add it to this setup. By the way, how about this nice two-tiered stand system by Analog Cases? Actually, that fits pretty well right there. Just about fits. All right. Then I have this cable. So one pro tip for y'all, if you have an interface that's capable enough, I have a Focusrite AKAI, I want to say. But it's got, you know, a fair amount of inputs. And I just keep, I keep these stereo cables plugged in at all times. And then I have a stereo to a single. And I just have those ready to go at all times. So basically anything I want to hook up. Oh, and there's a guitar cable as well. So I can just jump in with anything at any moment. And I've got my power strip here. I hope this doesn't result in any kind of cacophony. Although I will have to switch my input. All right, let's switch that real quick. Are we getting any sound? Nope, because I faded down the sound. All right, bringing that drone back in. I think, or at least I should be. All right, drone's coming in. The drone is much more than a drone now, I would say. try microcosm. Alright, and then the tensor, which we have just added to slow down time. Now currently it's not doing anything. If I turn it on, it should still be doing nothing. But if I turn the speed knob here, it's like a real-time like slow down, and I often relate it to tape. Now at the same time we could also raise the pitch, so we could slow it down and raise the pitch. And what's interesting is the speed. If we go to 12 o'clock, we're just at 0. Nothing's coming through. If we go to the left, we're actually going to get reversed. And why don't I let's just try pitching it up. I could, this is kind of sounding a little nonsensical now, but I could put some reverb on in live. I feel like that's cheating at the moment. But ultimately I feel like we should swap. I think we should swap the microcosm and the tensor. Even though that was a fun experiment, let's do that. And then yes, Nate G, patching in the tensor and the yes, there's a control port. Do I know how to use it? No. Square wave LFO to the tensor control would create a progression. So is all I have to do is connect one of these cables? Square wave LFO to the tensor control would create a progression. Would it just work? Okay, let's try that before we go too far with unpatching things. Turn this back up. Oh, no, we don't want that. Isn't it a CV patch? I don't know, there's just a 1/4 inch cable here. It's a 1/4 inch port on the back of the Tensor. So I could use one of these. Oh, you can't see what I'm doing. Yeah, just 1/4 inch port here. So what would happen if I just did one of these? This, into this, into the patch on the drone. No? Crazy? Illegal? Yeah, I think maybe it's probably for like an expression pedal or just like an on-off switch pedal. I'd assume that's what that is. I don't want to break anything. What's the most danger I can get into with like doing CV and gate? Yeah, the fry something. Like that is something I completely don't understand. Like what actual damage can occur if you patch something incorrectly is my question. Like I know it's control voltage, but like what are we talking here? Oh gosh, camera's going down. What are we talking here in terms of voltage? We're talking electrocution? All right, so what did I say we were doing? We're gonna go from the drone to the Tensor, which can stay powered. I don't know why I unpowered it. From the drone to the Tensor, which I need a single cable for. All right, so I'm gonna go main out into Tensor. Tensor goes out. There's all this single cable nonsense going on, which might be a problem because now I'm gonna need another adapter. Hold that thought, friends. Do we have the adapter we need? Never mind, we have the cable we need, of course. All right, into the microcosm. Out to the computer. This is enough to either keep anybody's mind sharp or drive someone into madness. And you end up at that point where it's late at night and you're... All right, second camera down. The witching hour, where all the chaos happens. We might have lost the feed. Oh no, we didn't. Perfect. All right, we're back. As K-Link says, what's the goal here? No real goal. We're just doing a bunch of experimentation with the drone synth. Kind of learning a little about what it means to be patching things in. So we've got this drone happening, which I need to reset my input here. That's interesting. What did I do to deserve this note playing right now? Who has a guess? Who has a guess where that random high note is coming from? If I turn drone down, it's still coming through. That doesn't make sense, right? Interesting. It's the cable. Is that just feedback? Do I need a isolator? We have the technology on that. Or maybe we don't. It's the cable. All right, let's just check again. Let's figure out where the issue is. Yeah, it's for sure this cable situation. Let's swap it. Quick swap. Wow, it really was that cable. Dang. All right, drone, where are you? I need to hear you. Oh no, what's wrong? Oh, I think I got it. I think it was that the cable wasn't fully plugged in. So let's try that one last time. Thank you all for hanging out with me here late in the evening, getting into some madness. No, it is. Let me see. Yeah, something with the way this cable is connecting or not connecting. F it. Get out of here. You come here. And that's that. So odd. Now we have this little chaotic stack. Oof. Okay. Drone is back up. So now, at this moment, we're bringing back in the microcosm. Jenga, exactly. Now, reducing speed. See, what's good about this is now the space, the reverb is at the end of the chain. I'm seeing the chats come through. Seems like the tensor can be connected without issue. So what should I connect? Wave 1 is free. Rate, we have rate, reset, and wave 1. Wave 1? Why not? And what will we expect to happen? Oh, this is not long enough. By the way, so all the cables that I've been using, the like patch cables and such, these all came with the Tensor. No, these all came with the drone synth, including this one. So like, what's the difference between using a stereo cable for patching and these single cables? Is there a difference? And then what do I do with this splitter? Can I use the splitter as an extender? That's what I'm gonna do. I've got this split kind of like single cable, split mono cable, and then another mono cable. But the control port on the Tensor is a 1/4-inch port. So the problem I foresee with that is that this adapter is stereo. You know what? Let's just plug it in and see what happens. As long as you all tell me that it's not gonna blow up. It's not gonna blow up, right? The manual says no. All right, here goes nothing. Oh gosh. Interesting. It seems to be, where is it? It seems to be controlling the random? Or I'm not sure. The speed? Yeah. Hold on, let's kick back and listen to this for a bit. Alright, let's change the wave shape. I think I know what it's doing. I think it's going... Let me see. Let me test my theory. It's gonna fall back down and then go back up. Yeah, okay. So what it's doing is we've got the speed control knob on the Tensor. So it's going from basically from full speed down to whatever value it's set to. So this is its low point. So if I basically put it to 0, it just goes. So it's going all the way back up. Let's put it all the way here. Kind of funny. So like, it's not the most musical, but definitely I like it. I'm gonna unpatch it for now. I assume that if I connect, I know the Red Panda has like a control software. So what I am going to assume is that I can probably set other things to being adjusted by that. It is expressive, Ayoda, you're right. Alright, y'all, I'm gonna run the recording. Let's grab this. Maybe we record it for about a minute or two. I'll do a little bit of tweaking here and there. Yo, how about that? Whew. That was our drone show this evening. I was watching the chat go by as that was happening. I was locked in. I was like, oh, let's record it for like a minute or something, and then it kind of transformed into that full piece, which was I'm pretty stoked on. Be cool to release this as a track. Awesome. Yeah, we landed in a good place. So like to recap what we ended up, just to recap this whole thing, I guess, what we were doing is, and especially for those of you that tuned in late, which if you did, you can tune in later and watch from the beginning. APC64 is sending notes on 2 different channels to the drone synth up here. Now this drone synth has 2 oscillators. Basically, you can think of it as it has 2 voices. And we can send one set of notes to drone 1, one set of notes to drone 2. So that's what's happening here. And we're using the step sequencer to send notes to each individual drone. I can switch channels. So here's the notes for drone 1, and here's the notes for drone 2, which we're really just playing a low bass note for most of that. And then just tweaking things on the drone synth as we went, things like filter, the resonance on the filter, the rate of the change that we heard happening, all that good stuff. The sound of all that gets run through first the tensor pedal up here, which all this is doing is slowing down time. It's like if you took a tape and started to slow it down so the pitch lowered, just slightly turning down the speed of the outgoing audio from the drone. And then that slowed down drone sound ends up in the hologram microcosm, which is what gives us all the spacey, granular kind of vibes that you heard on top of all that. And it resulted in what I think is a pretty good piece. I mean, let me just review this recording real quick. I kind of just let the music flow and followed a natural, or what I felt was a natural sort of feeling structure. And especially towards the end, it started to very simply slow down. I might release this as like an actual track or something, like a real ambient track if I put a field recording with it. I'm super happy with that sound. I think we've had a good droney kind of evening. Now I do want to give you guys a free download, but since I want to turn what we just recorded into a track, I'm going to find some audio from earlier in the session to share with you. But I don't want to send you all like an hour of audio. It's going to be obnoxious. So let me find a solid... I mean, I could give you guys like this 10-minute chunk here. Just to sample freely from. Yeah, okay, here. I'm gonna export this little 10-minute bit here. For anybody who's watching live, you'll be able to download this as soon as I finish exporting it. I'll just put this in my sampling folder, and we will call it evening. What's the date today? Actually, it's the 3rd. 0403 0403 25 evening ambient TAETRO. I'm going to export this little 10-minute clip, and then I will give you all a quick download link for that, but I'm going to have the link expire probably in 24 hours or however low I can make it. That way it's exclusive to those who hang with us on a Thursday evening. So this is like our 3rd Thursday evening live. TAETRO evening ambient. So if you're new here, welcome. We've been going into, like, sometimes what I do is I do like really like heady like beat making stuff and tutorial style and making a full track, but between last week and this week we've really gone forward with the experimentation model and just kind of drifting away with this sort of ambient stuff. And as some people pointed out in the chat, it is actually a good vibe for the late night evening hours. So I think we're going to continue with that vibe on with this Thursday evening stream. And if it is something you enjoy, you can turn on notifications for the channel so you get notifications when we're live, but you can look forward to this stream being should be the same time every week. Now, I did just save that file. Where did I save that file? Because I want to share it all with you. Or maybe it did not actually finish rendering. No, it did. The classic, like you export something, you're like, where did I export that? Ah, there it is. And if you do like free downloads and even sample challenges, I have a video coming on Sunday that I will announce a new community challenge that's going to be happening. And there's gonna be a bunch of free downloads. There's gonna be vocals actually to download. And we're gonna be having a little competition for the month of April. So stay tuned for Sunday's video. I have been working hard on the videos lately, by the way. I know y'all are tuning into this live stream right now, so maybe y'all don't watch the videos. But the last couple of videos I've been doing like fun little skits in, and it's kind of like reinvigorated my energy for making videos again. Whereas instead of just being all about the facts, and just straight ahead, here's how to do this, here's how to do that, I've been trying to have a little more fun with the videos. So I don't know if anybody has been enjoying that or has noticed that effort, but it's at least making it fun for me. Now, why can't I edit this transfer? Let me see. I'm going to quickly see. Okay, let me just edit this. I'm going to try to edit this download. Nope, can't do that. Here, let me Google this real quick because I want you all to get the sample. All right. Change download period. Send files. Da, 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 da. Click the edit icon next to the expiration date. There's no edit icon next to the expiration date. It's a big lie. All right, whatever. It's not that big of a deal. Nobody's going to be able to find this file. You all were watching it live, so you're one of the few that are going to find it anyway. I am going to give you this file in chat right now. So here's like a little 10-minute ambient pull from this session tonight. You can sample that. Just don't like outright release it on your own or something like that. Transform it. As long as you're being transformative about it, that's all good for me. But this ambient piece that we worked on in the end, I think I'll end up turning this into something, so I'll let that play in the background here. That ambient piece that we just kind of created live, it was about 10 minutes, and I think it was not, even despite it being like this rolling ambient thing, not too boring, I would say, right? Like not too monotonous. Sky Lotus says that your videos have been awesome. Oh, thank you so much. I need to catch up with chat. Good job. I like to see more of fun TAETRO. Okay, good to hear. Good to hear. These streams are great. Awesome. Yeah, the boss will be returning in Sunday's video. The boss has been hard on my back these days, but he will be returning in Sunday's episode, and he has some ideas, I'll say that, in Sunday's episode. The gaming one had me chuckling, and then I think you'll like Sunday's video. I can relate to the boss, yeah. We all have a little bit of the boss in us, you know what I mean? Stepping up my acting game. Thank you, Barista Beats. I appreciate that. Thank you. Even though it's repetitive, it's really easy to get lost. And yeah, I think there's just enough little changes between the probability, between the notes, the probability between the filtering, that rate changing, plus the granular stuff on top with microcosm. I think all of that unexpected and sort of like micro changes as we go, that is enough to make it kind of hypnotizing. So I would say from this little session, I would say this is kind of the most unlikely. Like if you told me 3 months ago, oh, you're going to be using a drone synth and the APC64, I'd be like, you're crazy. That doesn't make any sense. What are we talking about? But they make a great pair. And honestly, I don't know what... I have a Launchpad Pro. I don't know what other controller I have that would be well suited for this. People mentioned KeyStep last time, that it would be well suited for this, obviously. But then again, I think the step sequencer is more fitting for this. I think it's more fitting to build sequences in this way. Or it's more fluid, I guess. And Dustin, I saw your question about what's our next sort of semi-modular thing. I have 2 Moog synths in my closet. I have the one that you build yourself that I can't remember the name of, and I have a Mother 32. So perhaps that's what we can do next week. Pull one of those out and continue the experimentation. And I want to say, there's a couple people that jumped in chat that I didn't see like while I was doing that. TickT3, thank you for being here. David Forney, hello, I didn't see you before, but thank you for being here as well. And B, nice to see you. Dustin said music for airlocks. Your Brian Eno album, yeah. I saw the some NASA dialogue in there. Yeah, like a little bit of field recording or something would be cool. No doubt. And then I saw the conversation about like from Body about drone shows. I know there is a little bit of an ambient scene out there. I know because I watched some videos of people just doing like these long ambient sets. So I know it's a thing out there. I would love to do a little bit of a ambient set. I think that would be a lot of fun. But here we are, we're doing our own little ambient set here on YouTube. I'm sure the community is aware, but the creative videos can take time, scripting, knowing which parts, how many hours were involved. So that is something I'm learning with these style videos, because I work with an editor, but not on these more creative videos because they just take more nuance. Like if I'm just doing an Ableton tutorial, I can send that to my editor and he does a great job editing tutorials. It's very straightforward. These more creative videos, I'm editing myself. And like you said, Barista Beats, the writing and the shots, it's like if I have to have a conversation, or if me and my boss have to have a conversation, I have to shoot that properly, right? It has to be a fluid conversation. Somebody asks something, somebody answers. So like, it's a lot of hours. Like, it could be like straight up 24 hours of work on one of those videos, to be honest, between the writing and the shooting and the editing. I'm getting better now at being better organized, and it's easy when an idea comes to mind right away, but when I have to kind of work out an idea for how I'm going to do this kind of creative entertainment style, the writing process takes longer than I expected, to be honest. But thank you for pointing it out, that yes, it does take a lot of work. So what I try to do is I try to work with cool sponsors, so that time is basically paid for and that I can bring videos to you all at no cost to you. I like that model the most, because you all can enjoy the work and you can enjoy it for free, and then a sponsor is the one that's paying for the production of the content. I like that. But of course, channel members do definitely help out a lot, so that when I have ideas, or like say a new update comes for Move, or there's just something I want to make a video about that doesn't quite get a sponsor, like there's not going to be a sponsor in it, then having member support means that I can jump in and make anything, and basically that time gets covered and I have all your support, so that I can do that kind of thing. And it's not a clear cut like this pays for this and this pays for that, but like it takes a lot to stay on top of all the gear, the news, learn myself about these things. I mean, set up the setup. We've got this camera here, we've got this camera here, we didn't use it tonight, but this camera here, all the screens. So like there's a lot of like tech and setup involved. Oh, obviously I didn't mention that camera up there. Right there, that's where that camera is. So when I go this way and I switch here, that's that camera. It's hard to demonstrate that. Yeah. But, you know, a lot goes into the channel, so I appreciate all your supporting, whether you just leave a like on a video or a stream, whether you just leave a comment that says, like, I really enjoyed this video. Like, you don't know how much that helps, and that goes for anybody you watch. Like, if you watch any person making videos, if you just drop a comment that says, I really enjoyed this video, or I learned something from this video, or this part made me laugh, that goes, like, a long way with anybody who's making videos, because there's a sea of people who are not too appreciative of content or the work that goes into making videos like that. So just know that you have a lot of power, even if it doesn't mean like you're giving money or something. Live ambient shows and surround sound would be cool. Yes, I agree. So I have the Unit 4 speakers by AKAI, which are wireless, but they offered to lend me a second pair to try to do some 4 speaker stuff if I ever wanted to, so I may consider that in the future. I may take them up on that offer. Tabe, you came late. We're coming to the end of the stream. The content you release even to non-channel members is really substantial, but it has been well worth being a channel member over the past few years. I'm happy to hear that, Aodi. Thank you. Thank you for your supporting for all these years. It's really appreciated. All right, y'all, it is getting late. We had a great stream. It morphed into something great. So if you tuned in late, you can tune in back from the beginning. Another fun ambient experiment. If you do want to become a member, if you're not a member yet, and that is how you get into the Discord server. So if you want to stay connected outside of the streams, that's the easiest way, is being in the Discord server. And you can do that by becoming a member at any tier, hitting the join button on the video. If you're watching on mobile, you may not see the join button, so you can go to the desktop version of YouTube and you should find it there. But if not, leave a like on the stream on your way out. Look forward to Sunday's video. It's going to be a lot of fun. And then I'm also posting on Instagram and Threads as well, so we can hang out and chat there. But that's going to be all for now, folks. Thanks for hanging out with me on another sound experiment late evening stream. I will talk to you all soon. This has been TAETRO. Have a good one.